Hey, it's Jamie here. Last night I watched the film The Secret on Netflix, about law of attraction. And maybe you've seen that already, because it's quite an old film, right? Anyway, it got me thinking about law of attraction. Now, I've been learning and working with law of attraction for many years. I remember I was back when I was in the monastery is when I first kind of got into law of attraction. But back then, I wasn't using the expression law of attraction. I didn't even know what law of attraction was, actually. And in the monastery, it was my guru who taught me about law of attraction. But he taught me in using concepts and terminology which was like thousands of years old. This has nothing to do with the modern expressions that you hear today about law of attraction. So I learned about law of attraction in the context of cultivating a personal relationship with the divine. So back then, during my life at the monastery, I used that law of attraction to have that relationship with the divine, to develop a collaboration with the divine, working together to create a life that I wanted. Well, back then in the monastery, I didn't want much. you know, I didn't, not like today. I didn't want a car, I didn't want a house, I didn't want a wife. But I did want some simple things. I wanted to create um, projects, because back then we were working with the animals a lot and building things. So I needed tools to build fences, to build shelters for the animals, stuff like that. And in the monastery, we couldn't just go out and buy stuff. So sometimes I was given a project to do, and it was a real challenge because maybe I didn't have the materials or maybe I didn't have the tools. And I wasn't really a very practical person. I'm not so resourceful in that way. So I had to really dive deep into my connection with the divine to help me manifest these projects, to help me acquire the tools and the materials that I need. And sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't work. Um, and this kind of collaboration with the divine to create something, this is where today it's very popular, this expression co-creation, which basically means that you're collaborating with the divine, the two of you, to create something, a better life for yourself, or to create something to help others, to create a better world, basically. And law of attraction is a fundamental principle for spiritual living. It's like a universal mechanic, a universal law. I mean, that's why they call it law of attraction. It's like a law of nature. The starting point in law of attraction, in my opinion, in my experience, is to become aware of a higher power, to understand, to realize that there is a higher power that's working out there in nature, in the universe. And at the same time, that higher power is also within us. And that's where we can connect with it, within. And you can give this higher power, you can call it what you like. It can fit your particular spiritual beliefs or whatever. You can give it whatever label you like. A lot of people say it's the universe. You could say it's nature. You could say it's God. You could say it's spirit. Anything like that. I tend to use a mix of all of those expressions, but I particularly relate to referring to her as the Divine Mother, because that's the tradition that I was educated in, and that's the tradition that I was living in the monastery. It's Divine Mother for me. So for me personally, my experience with law of attraction has been very much a sort of experiment, a lifelong experiment. It's like all the time I'm experimenting with it. All the time I'm trying law of attraction, trying out how to collaborate with the Divine Mother to create things in my life. And it's a learning process. It's an ongoing learning. I always feel like I'm learning to improve more and more, even though I've been doing it for years, and I've manifested many things in my life. I'm not so sure about using the word manifest, because it's not like it comes out of nothing. It's already there, out there. It's just that the divine orchestrates things to bring that into your life, or for you to connect with whatever it is you're looking to connect with. And so when I look back at the times that the law of attraction has worked for me, and I compare it to the times when it didn't work, one of the fundamental ingredients that I see that's absolutely necessary for law of attraction to work is the conviction and the feeling that you are ready to get whatever it is that you're asking for. That you're absolutely deeply ready, and that you're convinced that it will happen, that it can and will happen. And this is not this is not just I'm not just talking about belief. I'm not just talking about that you believe it will happen. Personally, I don't like the word believe or belief. I find it a bit too wishy-washy, and it kind of implies that, you know, it's like, I just think it's like blindly believing something without any kind of reason to believe. So I don't know, it's like, it doesn't work for me. My guru always used to teach me that, like, don't believe anything, experience something. So if you don't believe in God, experience God. That's what he always used to teach. And I always apply that in my spiritual life, and with law of attraction as well. You know, if I want to attract something into my life, I don't start by trying to believe that it will happen. I start by experiencing the reality of it happening. And the way I do that, and this is what they teach in law of attraction, but I'm just using my own language here, is to really sort of generate a strong emotion and a strong feeling about whatever it is you're trying to manifest. And this is what I mean by when I said, are you ready for this thing to come into your life? Because if you are ready, you feel it very deeply in your body. You feel like the emotion, the passion, the excitement and the joy of having this thing, whatever it is you want. And you feel it like in your hormones, in your body, in your gut, in the depths of your being. You feel that, yes, you are ready, and this can and will happen. And you generate this energy of excitement and emotion, and that's the power that comes with collaborating with the divine. Because when you feel like that, and you declare to the universe, you declare to Mother, I am ready for this thing to come into my life. And you feel that this is the right moment in your life, that now is the right moment for you to have this thing. And with that passion and that energy, Mother sits up and pays attention to you. And she says, wow, this guy's serious. He really wants this thing. And then she moves. She is the universe. She has her hands in everything. My guru always used to say, not a single leaf falls from a tree without the divine knowing about it. So she orchestrates everything that's happening in the universe. And as soon as you align yourself with that energy and that passion of being ready, that you are ready in this moment to receive this thing, that this is the right time for you to have this thing, and you feel that conviction, she orchestrates it to happen. And it can take longer or it can take sooner. It can go quicker or it can go slower, depending on a number of factors, particularly depending on your karma. Now, karma is a huge topic, and it relates to law of attraction because it affects how successful you are with the law of attraction. But I'm going to leave that for another video because it's such a big topic. So I'm not going to go into karma right now. But just to concentrate on this key element of this conviction of being ready and knowing that it can and will happen. And in law of attraction, in The Secret, in the film, they talk about this, that you have to, or you should, like, imagine that you in the present tense, that you have this thing right now in this moment, and that you're enjoying the benefits of it. And the reason that's necessary is because it gets you into that emotion and that passion of excitement and joy. When you feel that you've got it right now, you feel, oh, this is so fantastic. I've got it right now. Oh, I'm enjoying it. And it generates that energy, which is the power that you need to get mother's attention. So that's why they say, put yourself in the present as if you actually have this thing already, because it gets that energy and it creates that connection with the divine. So if you are trying to work with the law of attraction and you've been having hit and miss success, then one of the things you should think about is to ask yourself the question, am I really ready to have this thing in my life now in this moment? So, whatever that is, if it was a house, ask yourself, are you ready to have a house right now in this moment? Think about it. It's a pretty complicated business, having a house. Mortgage, location, all the documents and legalities and all that stuff. And your family as well could be affected. So are you really ready to have this now? And when you ask yourself that question, just listen to what your body is telling you, what your intuition is telling you. If you feel some resistance somewhere, if you're feeling that you're not quite convinced that it's going to happen, then you're not ready. If you're trying to get a relationship and you ask yourself, am I really ready for a serious relationship? For someone to come and live in my house and in my personal space, and that we're going to spend most of our time together, etc., etc. Ask yourself, are you really ready? And if you get this sort of, oh God, I'm not so sure, and then you get little doubts, or you're not, or maybe you want to be ready, but you're not quite convinced for some reason, you're just not 100% convinced that it can happen so easily as everybody says this thing happens, then you're not ready. But if, when you do ask yourself that question, am I ready for this to happen right now in my life? And if your whole being is just saying, yes, I am so ready for this. You feel like a passion about it, and you say, absolutely, yes, this is the moment now in my life. This is the right moment for this to happen. Then that means you are ready. And that's when Mother is going to work with you and orchestrate the universe, and law of attraction will work for you in that case. I've experienced this myself. Like I say, it didn't always work. And the times when it didn't work, I realized that I wasn't really ready. And I had some kind of belief that was blocking me, or I just needed to somehow change the circumstances in my life. Perhaps my environment wasn't right, or for whatever reason, I wasn't ready, and that's why it didn't happen. But the times when it did work, I can look back and I can say, yeah, I was absolutely ready. And I remember, for example, with a relationship, I remember I had to do 2 stages with the law of attraction for the relationship. to attract that relationship. The first stage that I had to do was letting go of some past histories, connections with people, exes and stuff like that, because that was blocking me from getting a relationship. So my first law of attraction declaration was, I am ready to let go of this person. I'm finally ready to release that person from my life. And when I did that, I did a special puja, a special ceremony. In the Hindu tradition is my spiritual practice. And I said to Mother, I'm so finally ready to let go of this person, Mother. And this weight lifted from me, and I felt so good. And then a short while later, about a week or so, or 2 weeks I think it was, I went to the next stage of this law of attraction for a relationship. And then I said, I am ready for a new relationship. And I had very clearly exactly how I wanted the person, exactly what kind of feeling I wanted to have. And it was the emotions which are key, not so much about the physical looks and those kind of details. It was more about the energy that you feel with the person. And I had that so clearly. And when I declared it to Mother, I am so ready for this person. And when I did that, instantly, Mother kind of showed me, not literally showed me, but she presented to me a feeling as if to say, look, that person is also ready for you. They are somewhere out there. I'm just going to get things organized for you. So I knew, I had this conviction that that person was somewhere on this planet and was doing the same thing, trying to get to me. And that's how law of attraction works, and that's how collaboration with the divine works, or co-creation, if you want to call it that. So, if you're trying to do law of attraction, start by asking yourself that question, are you ready? And if you're not ready, maybe you just have to work through some belief patterns. Maybe you just need to give yourself a bit of time and patience in order to get your life into, sorted out, or whatever you need to sort out, and then come back again to the law of attraction process. Sometimes it requires a number of steps for the same objective. So patience is required, and trust. And just enjoy the feeling of working with the divine. You get such joy of working with the divine. Even when things don't turn out as you want, it's still, this is what law of attraction is about. It's about creating that joyful connection with the universe. It's not so much about getting what you want. I mean, come on. When you get what you want, often you realize, I don't really want this now. So it's all about connecting with the divine and opening up your consciousness into that joy, into that spiritual connection. So anyway, I've been rambling on. I'm going to have to try and edit this, make it shorter. So anyway, I hope you find that interesting, and I would like to do more of these videos. Just when I get the inspiration, I will do. So I hope you enjoyed it, and take care. Have a good day.